there's also a robust feature in our software that allows you to track and manage defects or issues that you may have with a project or even a specific job. So let's go back to Jenny's home, and let's say we're continuing on this project, and recently 2 jobs were completed, right? So the sand filling was completed, and well, we completed the previous job in the previous video. And let's just go ahead once again and we'll say, hey, maybe the sand filling was completed from the 15th to the 17th, right? So we're having some actual dates on the sand filling. However, once your QA team, not your QA team, your QA team inspected the sand filling, maybe you have a QA team and you have some check sheet that they need to take care of in order to confirm that the sand filling is up to standard. When they inspected the sand filling, they realized a couple of issues. Now within Techlify Works, what you can do is to file defects for this specific project, right? And again, within Techlify Works Mobile, you're able to just add a defect once you've logged in, add a defect to the specific project, and you're able to take photos from your mobile. I'll demonstrate this on desktop. So we're saying, hey, for Jenny's home, we have a defect. Now you have types of defects. These can be configured based on your organization. And let's just say that this might be a cosmetic defect. Now let's blame Josh for this. And we found 2 defects with the sand filling. One is that the sand filling, when they sand filled, they use the building plan and they sand fill exactly to the size of the building. However, your foundation is a bit wider than your building, so part of the land that the foundation needs to be rested on has not been sand filled, right? So we'll file a defect to that, and let's just say the repair cost is 0 here because we'll get the contractor to fix that, right? And we can also upload an image for this, showcasing this sand filling defect. Now once we have updated that, sorry, I filled that in the wrong place. Yeah, the repair details will be that the contractor will add the extra sand. I can go ahead and save, and there you go, our defect was filed. The other thing the QA team noticed, and again, let's just file this as cosmetic and Josh is responsible, is that in certain areas, most areas, the thickness of the sand fill was 10 inches instead of the recommended 14 inches. So this is another defect that we found. And again, we'll say the contractor will sand fill, right? And the repair cost is 0 in this case since the contractor is taking responsibility. And once again, we'll upload an image. All right, so I'll go ahead and hit save. And here you see we have our defects. And like our updates page, the defects really forms a snapshot of how this project went about, what were the challenges we had over time. Now with a defect though, you have some more functionality. So if I go back to the projects, there's a defects list page. So here you'll have defects for all of your projects, and let me just go ahead and add the same defects to, so this is Jenny's home. I'll go ahead and add the same defects to John's home because in the case of John, the same exact sand filling standard was done and our sand filling was done on the same dates. So I'll go ahead and update that, and I will file these 2 defects for John. I'll say again it's a cosmetic defect. Josh is responsible, and the first defect is that sand filling didn't match the building size. Once again, I upload the image and I'll hit save. And then my second defect is that we filled 10 inches of sand instead of the 14 that we needed. I'll go ahead and hit save. So we now have defects on 2 projects, same defects because it's the same contractor. But what I wanted to showcase is that this here that we're looking at are the defects for John's home. And we previously saw the defects for Jenny's home. However, if I go to the general defects page, I'm able to see all defects across projects. And this is a very useful page. You'll be able to search, filter, and just find a general history of defects if you wanted to see, hey, how many defects has this team member been responsible for versus that team member. You're able to see that. And then there's a little bit more functionality here within a specific defect. So let's look at this one for Jenny's home. If we're to view this defect, firstly, you see all the information, you see all the photos, you're able to add comments on a defect. So as you review it and update it, you can add comments or information. And then there's also a status on a defect where you're able to specify, hey, what was fixed, what wasn't fixed, what's the status. So over time, you're able to then track, how am I moving ahead with fixing up the defects, especially maybe at the end of a project. You can do all of your QA and file a list of all the defects and everything that need to be fixed and track that within your system. So this is a very, very useful feature for tracking data and just ensuring that everything is in a single place, but then also separated by projects, team members, etc.